Hi everybody, this is Jamie Cloninger back with another episode from the Board Game Man. But today is going to be the beginning of a trilogy. What kind of trilogy? A sushi trilogy. One of my favorite foods to eat. I absolutely love sushi. So the first episode we're going to see is from a game from 2013 called Sushi Go. And then the second game came out 3 years later in 2016, Sushi Go Party. And then 3 years again after that in 2019 came Sushi Roll. Sushi Roll, Sushi Roll. Oh, that's Tootsie Roll, I'm sorry. But anyway, this will be the third of the trilogy is Sushi Roll. They all came out 3 years at a time. So 2013, 16, and 19. But tonight, we are going to look at Sushi Go, the game that started it all. This is, like I said, this was back in 2013. It is 2 to 5 players. I believe it's ages 8 and up, I believe. Yep, ages 8 and up. Takes about 15-20 minutes to play. Let's head on over to the gamer's table, and I'll show you how to play Sushi Go. All right, everybody, here we are at the gaming table, and here is Sushi Go. So first and foremost, here is the tin that it comes in. And there is your little insert. You can put all your cards in those 2 slots. Very nicely done. You also have a deck of cards and the instruction booklet. They did a really good job with the instruction booklet. You can see it has all sorts of pictures, all that good stuff, so it kind of shows you and tells you what every card does, which hopefully you will not need this after watching my video. I'll try my best so you don't have to look into this. So it depends on how many players are in the game, how many cards each player receives. So you can see here, it does show on the very first page, it'll show right there, if I can get it to focus, you can see a 2-player is 10 cards each, and so on. 3 is 9, 4 is 8, and 5 is 7. So in this case, we will do a 3-player game. So we'll go ahead and deal 9 cards to each player, which I've already done so off-site, so you don't have to watch me count 9 cards to each player. Okay. And what you do is when it's your turn, you're going to look at all your cards, and you're going to decide which one you want to keep. As soon as you decide which one you want to keep, you put it face down in front of you until all players do that. So we'll just do this, and we'll do this. So after all 3 players and all players have chosen whichever card they want to choose, everyone will flip up their card, like so. Okay, just like this. Okay. And then what's going to happen is all the players will pass their cards to their left in a clockwise manner. So this player will get these cards, this player will get this cards, and I will get these cards. So right now, let me go over all the cards. That way you have an understanding of what you're trying to go for. And the player with the most points at the end of 3 rounds wins the game. So let me go ahead and show you, first and foremost, the nigiris, aka sushis. So you can see here we have the egg nigiri. If you get this, you get 1 point. Now you see right here it says egg nigiri, 1 point. Okay, I'm just going to say sushi because nigiri is going to be interesting to say after so many times. All right, then you have the salmon sushi. There it is right there. And you can see it is worth 2 points, okay, if you lay that down. Then you have the squid, which is actually very good. That is 3 points there. So those are your 3 standalone sushis in the game. Is egg, salmon, and squid. Now we move on to the wasabi, which is not something I eat with my sushi. It is way too hot for me. What you do with this is when you lay down a wasabi, if it's by itself, you do not get any points for it. But if you add one of these 3 sushis to it, it is times 3. So you get 3 times the points. But you have to make sure you lay down this wasabi first. You can't lay down a squid and then play a wasabi. It has to be a wasabi first, and then you play one of these on top of it, which I'll show you how that works. So what you do is say you lay this down, and then you lay the egg down on top of the sushi. You would do this, and it's 3. You'll get 3 points. 3 times 1 is 3. If you lay this down first, and then you lay a salmon on top of it, it is 3 times 2, so it is worth 6 points. And of course, you have the squid over here. If you were to lay down the wasabi first and then you lay down the squid, that is 9 points. So those squids, and then And the Wasabi can be worth some good points, because 9 points is exceptionally good for 2 cards in this game. Okay, so that is what the Wasabi does. You don't get any points for it if it's by itself. You get 0. It's only when you add a sushi to it is when whatever sushi it is, you times it by 3. Okay, so that's how that works. Okay, the next one is the shrimp tempura. You can see right here, you see on the bottom it says times 2 equals 5 points. So in order for you to get those 5 points, you must have 2 of these tempuras in order to get the 2 points. So you lay this one down. Later on, you manage to get a second one. Then what you do is you lay it just like this, and that will score you 5 points. Obviously, if you have a tempura by itself, you get no points, and you can actually get multiple pairs of that as well. So say you had a third tempura that came up. Let me see if I can find another tempura in here. There we go. If you had a third one, but you never got a fourth one, unfortunately, you'll only get the 5 points from these 2. But if you do manage to get a second set, you will get another 5 points, and that would be 10 points total. So you don't have to stop at just 2. You can actually try to get 2 more if you're lucky enough. You can get 2 sets of 2, then you'll get 5 points for each one. But you have to have a set to get the 5 points. So that's how that works. Okay. Then you have the sashimi. Here's the sashimis. And you can see on the bottom, you need 3 of these to score 10 points. Okay. So say you have the sashimi there, and later on you end up getting a second one. But if you end up with 1 or 2, you will not get any points. But if you do end up with a third sashimi, then good luck to you. You will get 10 points for a third sashimi. Let me find another sashimi here. Dun, 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 dun. There it is. So if you end up getting lucky enough to have a third sashimi, then that's when you score the 10 points. And it's same with this. It's kind of rare, but if you're able to get two sets of 3 sashimi, that will be 20 points, and that would be huge. So that would be really big. Pretty rare to do that, though, but it can be done. But you need 3 in order to get those 10 points. Like I say, if you get 1 or 2, nothing. Same with the tempura, you only get 1, nothing. Okay, let's move on to the next item on the list here, and that would be the dumplings. Let's look at the dumplings. Here is what the dumplings look like. Now you can see on the bottom, depending on how many of these dumplings you get, depending on the score. If you get 1 dumpling, you get 1 point. If you manage to get 2 dumplings, you get 3 points, and so on. 3, you get 6. 4, you get 10. And if you end up with 5 dumplings, that's 15 points. So you can score pretty big on that. So later on, if you end up getting maybe 2 more dumplings, and you have 3 dumplings total, then that will total you 6 points. And that's how the dumplings work. Okay? The next item on the list is the maki rolls. Now you can see the maki rolls here. These come in 3 different denominations. You'll have a maki roll that has 1 on top. You'll have maki rolls that have 2 on top. And you'll have maki rolls that have 3 on top. Now the scoring goes for these. And you can see right on the bottom of the card, whoever has the most maki rolls, totaling the amounts that are up here, would get 6 points. If you have the second most maki rolls, you will get 3 points. If there is a tie, let's just say, for instance, 2 players had the most amount, say, 2 players had 6 of them, and that's the most, then they would split that, and it would go to 3 each, and so on. If you have, say, one person has, 2 people had 8 of them, and another player had, one player had 8, and 2 players had maybe 6, the one with the 8 would get the 6 points, but then the second place, the 2 second place people would split that, and you would round it down. So in this case, if you had 2 players that had the second most, each player would get 1 point, not 1.5, obviously, you would round it down. Okay, so that's how that goes. And that's what you do is when you collect these, you'll collect them just like this, and then you'll count how many maki rolls, and whoever has the most of them will get the 6 points, and the second highest amount will be 3. If there is a tie for the first place, say there's 2 people that got the most, they would split the 6, and no one would get the second half. So that's how that works. The next item is the Chopsticks. Now, the Chopsticks is a very interesting card, and it can be a pretty powerful card at times. You don't get any points for it by itself, obviously. What you do with this card, as you can see on the bottom, it says swap for 2. So like I was showing you in the drafting, you would take one card, play it, pass it. If you play a chopstick card, say you lay the chopsticks down, okay, when the cards come back around, if there are 2 cards that you like in that stack, okay, there's 2 cards in here you like, you can say Sushi Go, and what you can do is you can lay down 2 cards instead of 1. That way you'll lay these 2 down, say you want to lay down these 2, you would take this chopstick, put it back in your hand. You're going to put it in your hand to be passed around, and you get to draw 2 cards. So that's what the chopsticks does. Obviously, it's better to get it early on because a lot of cards are still out there, and you can maybe double up. Maybe, for instance, there's 2 tempuras in there. You can grab those 2 tempuras, say Sushi Go, pick up that chopstick, put it back in your deck, and you can draw 2 cards. Right there, you instantly get 5 points. So the chopsticks is very, very good to have. But sometimes you might get left, you might have, that might be the last card. You might end up with that chopsticks and it doesn't give you any points because it's by itself, okay? The final card in the deck is the pudding. The pudding. Here is the dessert. Now these, when you play a pudding, you do not get the points for these until the very end of the game. So what happens is, if you play a pudding, you put it in front of you, and at the end of that round, say all 9 cards, in this because we have 3 players, all 9 cards are played, you look at all the cards, and you start doing all the points, you will take this pudding and place it to the side in front of you. All the other cards get swept up and discarded. So the only card that you keep throughout the rounds are the pudding, okay? So say this is what I had at the end of the first round. Say I had this, maybe a tempura and a sashimi, something like this, okay? At the end of that round, I would score 1 point for, and say I had the pudding in there too. So I would get 1 point for the egg, 2 points for the salmon, that's 3 points total. Say I got the wasabi and the squid, so that'd be 9 points, so that'd be 11 and 12. I only had 1 tempura, 1 sashimi, so that would be a waste. That I wouldn't get any points for those, okay? What I would do is I would write down how many points I got for these. All my hand would be discarded. Okay, it would go in a discard pile. Okay, placed off to the side. And the pudding would be placed in front of me off to the side. After the 3rd round, after you've played all 3 rounds, you will count all the puddings that every player has. Now, here's the important part. The player with the most pudding gets 6 points. And it says right on there, most gets 6 points. Obviously, it's the same thing again. If 2 players have a tie, say, 2 players had the most and they both had 3 puddings, okay, you would split it in half and each player would get 3 points, okay? The person with the least amount of pudding, as you can see, that could be detrimental, minus 6 points at the very bottom there, okay? So the least person, and that could count as 0, will get minus 6 points. So say you had a player that didn't have any pudding and everyone else had at least 1 pudding, that player would get minus 6 points. So you don't want to ignore those puddings when they're coming your way, but then again, you don't want to get too many of them because then you're taking up too many of your cards and then you won't be able to get so many points here. So you have to kind of really watch the other players and how many puddings are out there and how many people have what pudding, okay? So it's the same as this. It's either the most you have 6 or the least you have minus 6. That's it. There is no 2nd, 3rd, 4th place on this. It's either the most, and the only numbers that matter here is whoever has the most and whoever has the least. That is it for the pudding. And these are not played till at the very end of the game after the 3rd round, when all these points have been calculated. Then you add these up, and whoever has the most gets 6, and the least amount has minus 6. And that is how you play Sushi Go. So let me go ahead and do a round for you real quick, just so I can have an idea of how it works. You probably do already, but why not? Why don't we just go ahead and do that? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and... I know I dealt those 9 cards, but I got them all screwed up again, so we'll go ahead and deal the 9 cards again. That way I can give you an idea how this works. Okay, I'm just not going to worry about shuffling too much here. So, it's, like I said, it's a 3-player game, so there will be 9 cards dealt. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And the deck will be put aside. There's no drawing from a pile in this game. These are the cards that will be played in this round. So this is the first round. I put all these aside. These go to the side. So I'm going to be player 1. I'm going to look at all my cards. And right away, I see a Chopstick in here. Now, you don't have to play it right away, but it's a very good card to use first thing. Because maybe later on, you might get, you might get 2, and you might be able to capitalize on it. So let's just say I'm going to choose a Chopstick. I'm going to go ahead and place this face down. Okay, put these like this. This player's going to look at their cards. Got it all upside down and everything else. Geesh. Okay, and let's just say he's going to choose this one. Okay, he's going to put these face down like so. And then the third player is going to look at all their cards. They're going to try to decide what they want to do with this. Okay, let's just say he chooses this card, and he plays. Now, as soon as all players place their hands face down, everyone's going to flip. I've got the Chopsticks. This player decided to go with the Wasabi, and this player decided to go, with a Shrimp Tempura. Okay. Now, these cards will go over here, these cards to here, these cards to here. Now, I'm going to look again and see what I want to do here. Let's see. Now, you don't have to play your Chopsticks right away. You can hang on to them until you see maybe 2 cards that might, give you an advantage. Let's see. And this one I'm going to decide to go with. Let's see. I'll go with this one. Okay. And what's funny about this game is you can either play the offense, where you're going to try to score your own points and really pay attention, or there might be times you want to play defensively. You know that, hey, this guy's got a Tempura over here. I have a Tempura in my stack. Do I want to try to block him from getting 2 Tempuras and scoring 5 points? Or do I want to keep on the offense and just score points for myself? So there's some strategy involved in this game. You got to determine, okay, am I going to do this offensively, defensively? It's really up to you. So this player's going to look, right on top. He's going to, you know what he's going to get here. He's going to go ahead and put this, okay? And then this player's going to look and say, let's see, what do I want to do here? I'm going to play this one here. Okay. So now all players have played their cards, and everyone's going to flip. I went with the Tempura. This player went with the Tempura, so now he's got 5 points right there. And in this one, he chose the salmon with the wasabi. So that's a very good thing. That is 6 points. As you can see here, the salmon is worth 2 points, and the wasabi is times 3, so 3 times 2 is 6 points. So you scored 6 points on those. And here we go. Again, this is going to go over here. This will go here. This will go here. I'm going to look and see what do I want to do here. Okay. I'm going to say Sushi Go. I'm going to play 2 cards here. And then what I do is I put this Chopstick back into my stack. Okay. Goes back in there. This player is going to look and see what they want to do. And let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and go with this one. Okay. This player is going to look at their cards and determine what they want to do. And let's just say they are going to do this. Okay, and this player puts them down. All players have now put their cards face down. So now I'm going to play, here we go. I got my second Tempura and I played a pudding. All right. This player is going to come over here. And now they have played a squid. So they got a squid sushi. This player played a pudding as well. Okay. So there you have it. So now these cards go over here. This goes over here. These go over here. And now I'm going to see what I want to do here. So I'm going to go ahead and play. Let's see. I'm going to play this card. Let's see. I'm going to play this card here. This player's going to look at their cards. They want to see what they want to do. And I'm going to play this card here. And this player is going to look at their cards and figure out what they want to do. And I'm going to do this. Okay. All right. All 3 players have done it. We're going to flip this over. I went for a second pudding. This player went for 3 Maki Rolls. Okay, so they got 3 Maki Rolls here, and this player went for a dumpling. So the dumpling by itself is 1 point, but if you can add more dumplings to it, you can add up that score. So that's what he's going to do here. In this game, they're face up, so every player knows what you have or what you may be going for. So that's the interesting part. Okay, so these cards go here, these cards go here, these cards go to me. Now I'm going to see what I want to do. I'm going to go for, let's see here. I'll go for this one here. This player is going to look and see what they want to do. And they're going to do this as well. And this player is going to look. And at this point, once it goes around once, you know what cards are in play because you have all these cards that are not in play yet. Okay? So as soon as it goes around one round, you know what all the cards are, and you want to know which ones you want to get. So let's see. And he's going to go this one. Okay, so now I went for a salmon. So that's going to be another 2 points for me. This player went for a squid. So you got another 3 points there. You could probably do this. That's fine. I don't think you have to separate them. And then this one, oh, sorry. He went for another dumplings. Now he's got 3 points for those dumplings. These cards go over here. These cards go over here. And these cards go over here. I'm going to look again and see what I want to do. I'm going to go ahead and play this one. This player is going to look at their cards and decide what they want to do. They're going to choose that. This player is going to look over here and say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Okay, so here we go. So I decided to do a maki roll. So I've got one here. This player decided to play a pudding. They didn't have any pudding. So we got a pudding right here. And this player decided to get a tempura. Okay. So now we got a couple cards left. That's all we got. This goes over here. This goes here. This goes over here. I'm going to choose this one here. This player is going to say, okay, I think I'm going to go for this one here. And this player is going to look and see what's left over. And let's see, he's going to play this. Okay. There we go. So now on this one, I decided to play a squid. So I'm going to get 3 more points there. And this player decided to go with a salmon. So put the salmon right there. And this player decided to go with another pudding. Probably because they saw I had 2, they better get some while they can. Because you never know how many pudding will be in the next 2 rounds. You don't know because you don't go through all the cards. So you go through most of them, but not all of them. So you never know. There could be the next 2 rounds might not have any puddings. I believe there's 10 puddings in the deck. So you got to, kind of weigh out how many's on the board, how many you've seen, how many there might be left over. So these 2 will go over here, these 2 here, these 2 here. Okay. And let's see, I'm going to go for this one here. Okay. This player is going to look at these 2 cards and go, okay, I want this. And this player is going to say, okay, I want this. Okay. So, this one, I decided to go with another maki rolls. That gives me 2 maki rolls. This player went with a sashimi. And this player decided to go with another pudding. And now we got 1 final card left. These go here, here, here. I am stuck with the chopsticks, which unfortunately does not give me any points. That's a bummer. It's a bummer for me there. This player got another sashimi, but unfortunately it only gives him 2. So obviously he doesn't get any points for that. He ends up with a tempura, but he doesn't... Oh, that was actually perfect. So he gets a set there. And there is the end of round 1. So what you'll do is you'll get your piece of paper and your tablet, and you're going to start marking down the points. So for instance here, chopstick is a waste. That's not going to do me any good. Okay. And the first thing you want to do is add up the maki rolls. You want to make sure you look at all the maki rolls and count them. This player had 3. This player had 2. This player didn't have any. So this player, as I said before, if you look on the bottom of the card, the person with the most makis gets 6 points, and the second highest is 3. So this player would get 6 points. This player would get 3 points. Okay. After you do that, you can take them out. Go ahead and do this and this. So they get 6. Now we get 3. Next is the shrimp tempuras. And you can do this in any order. So I got 5 points for this. They get 5 points for theirs. They get 5 points for theirs. So every player had a pair of tempura. So that's great. Okay. I get 3 points for the squid, 2 points for the salmon. That's awesome. These 2 are wasted. These sashimis, he only got 2, so that doesn't count for anything. Okay, that goes in the discard pile. He did get 2 points for the salmon and 6 points for the squid. That's not bad. Then you get, here is the wasabi and the salmon, so that's 6 points there. He gets 3 points for the 2 dumplings, and then you got the 3 puddings. So what's going to happen is you total up those points. So for instance, I had 3, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, so I would get 13 points. I put all these in the discard pile. I would keep my 2 puddings. This player has 6 and 3, that's 9, And then plus 5 is 14, so we got 14 points for these. All these go in the discard pile except for the puddings. And this player would have 5, 8, 11, 17, 19. So this player would have 19 points. Put all these in the discard pile except for the puddings. And each player would have their own puddings off to the side. Okay. Then you would do it all over again for a second round. You would do the 9 cards. You would do the drafting. And then you would add up any puddings and all that good stuff. And then you do the third round. And whoever wins, whoever has the most points after 3 rounds wins the game. If there is a tie, then the puddings would be the tiebreaker. Whoever has the most puddings would be the tiebreaker. And there, my friends, is Sushi Go. I really highly recommend you find this game and play. It is very inexpensive. I just recently purchased it, and I'm so glad I got it, and it is so fun to play. Especially if you get 5 players out there. You get 10 cards. I mean, you get all those cards out there. It gets pretty crazy. So there you have it. Sushi Go by Gamewright Games. 2 to 5 players, ages 8 and up. If you enjoyed the episode, click on the like button down below, and I would love to have you as a subscriber. And if you want to click on the notification bell, you'll be notified of any future episodes. Until next time, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and happy gaming.